Hello everybody, Eric again. Like and subscribe. Here we go. Let's read about B is for Burglar. Let's start reading about B is for Burglar. B is for Burglar is a mystery novel by American writer Sue Grafton. It was published in 1985 by Henry Holt and Company as the second novel in her Alphabet series of mystery novels. The plot centers around the efforts of Kinsey Mahone, a private eye based in Santa Teresa, California, to locate the missing person. Critical reception was positive, and it won the 1986 Anthony Award and Shumis Award. Plot summary. Private investigator Kinsey Mahone is hired by Beverly Danziger to locate her missing sister, Elaine Bolt, whose name is needed on some paperwork regarding an inheritance. Elaine has last seen getting into a cab with the intention of flying down to Boca Raton, California, where she spends her winters, but appears to have disappeared along the way. It seems a relatively straightforward matter, so much that Mahone is not sure Beverly needs a pie, but she agrees to take the case. Things are not easy as they seem. However, as Mahone can find no trace of Elaine anywhere in Florida, although she does find a woman called Pat Usher, who claims Elaine agreed to let her sublet the Boca Raton apartment where Elaine lived while she was off traveling. This claim rings false, since no one but Pat Usher has received a postcard from Elaine on her supposed trip. Mahone secures the able assistance of Elaine's elderly neighbor, Julia, to keep an eye on things in Florida while she goes back to California. Mahone suspects there is a link between Elaine's disappearance and the death of her Santa Teresa neighbor, Marty Grice, who was apparently killed by a burglar who then sets fire to the Grice home a week before Elaine left. Someone breaks into the home of Telly, the supervisor of Elaine's Santa Teresa apartment complex, apparently on the track of some of Elaine's bills that Tilly was holding ready to forward to her. Someone also searches the detective's apartment, and Mahone realizes the thief is after Elaine's passport. Gravely concerned for Elaine's safety, Mahone suggests to Beverly that Elaine's disappearance should be reported to the police, but Beverly objects so violently that Mahone terminates their relationship and starts working for Julia instead. Kinsey reports the disappearance and meets Joan and Rob, a recently separated cop working on missing persons. A visit from Beverly's husband, Aubrey, complicates matters further, as it turns out he was having an affair with Elaine, which Beverly had discovered. This raises suspicions around whether Beverly could have had a hand in Elaine's disappearance. Mahone is increasingly convinced that Elaine is dead, and that Pat Usher is involved. Pat disappears after vandalizing the Boca Raton apartment. Mahone discovers that Pat Usher has applied for a driver's license in Elaine's name, thus proving Pat's involvement. Marty's nephew Mike, a teenage drug dealer, confesses that he was at the Grice home the night of the murder, from the discrepancy in times between his account and what was told to the police. Mahone realizes that it was Elaine who died in the Grice fire, not Marty. Marty and her husband killed Elaine to steal her identity and her money. They then pass Elaine's dead body off as Marty's by switching the dental records. Marty departed for Florida as Elaine arrived as Pat Usher, with some cosmetic surgery to help. Unable to find Elaine's passport, she and her husband were forced to wait for a new one to come through before they can skip the country. Kinsey returns to the Grice home to look for the murder weapon, but the Grices find her. Marty Grice is shot in the left arm during the fight that ensues, but Kinsey manages to detain the two criminals and call for help. Reception. Ed Weiner, writing for the New York Times in 1999, called the book one of the best crime novels by anybody in recent memory. It was awarded the 1986 Anthony Award for Best Novel at ButcherCon, the World Mystery Convention in Baltimore, Maryland. The novel also won the 1986 Shumis Award for Best Novel from the Private Eye Writers of America. Bye for now.